Fucking the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm in a kid spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga feather me in. Today I'm gonna be talking about the breakdown of the main astrological aspects and its pros and cons. So when it comes to conjunctions, sextiles, squares, trines, oppositions, and inconjunctions, right? All the way down to, they have the more positive advantage harmonious aspects when it comes to the ones like conjunctions and sextiles and trines and stuff like that compared to the ones that are more uh, disharmony, or the ones that are more what word they use, malefic or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like ones that are not as harmonious. It's more negative, so to speak. But just in general, it's not really like a, oh, one is more positive and one is more negative, or one is more above the horizon, more below the horizon, right? Because everything has its pros and cons. Everything has its own little polarity, yin and yang. So on a overall scale, yeah, you could look at it like, oh, okay, the more harmonious ones are going to be more in my favor, but there's also a con based upon it going more in your favor, or like a weakness to your strength, compared to the ones that are malefic or unharmonious or more negative. But there's always a positive that you can gain out of that negativity or out of that darkness, so you can see it in a different light. You know what I'm saying? Because too much light can blind you, and then if you're too lost into the darkness, you ain't gonna be able to see clearly of the representations that probably gonna go over your head, or you got the dark shaded glasses on, you know what I'm saying, dark tinted glasses on, so you can't see it in its proper perspective all the way, and things of that nature. So just in general, right, when it comes to conjunctions are just your powers, ability, and capabilities. So it's like a connection. So from it being a connection, it's just bound into each other. So it's like an interlink. So from it being interlinked, it's like two different traits that are always connected and bound or married or mixed in with each other. However, it's hard to tell them as two different things, which can cause blind spots, which can cause a lack of discernment. So you ain't gonna be able to have that spiritual discernment, or you being able to tell the difference between those two different energies. A good example is like I have a Gemini stellium, so kind of like my Venus is conjunct my Mars, which is both in Gemini. So Venus is love and appreciation, and then Mars is passions, motivations, willpower, desires, intent, separation, things where I separate myself based upon me having that freedom of expression of the type of passions that I have, and I have my own individual way of how to go about it. Because the more passionate you are about your motivations and your desires, is going to separate you based upon your own visions and goals that you want to accomplish and facilitate for the most part. So that's why it's going to be your specific passion, or your specific desire, and your specific goal. And when you're in that Martian type of energy, that's what it leads to. So from my Venus conjuncting my Mars, is going to make me a passionate lover, or a passionate person who values certain things. And I like to relate to things in a certain way. And that's the thing that's going to give me that spark, the thing that's going to give me that motivation, so to speak, based upon those love, values, and appreciations. Like I appreciate that specific passion, or that specific motivation, or that specific inspiration. Because just in general, from it being in a conjunction, so from it being connected and interlinked, I'm not gonna be able to tell the difference. So let's say I'm in a relationship, so to speak, because love just don't, like, it's not just based upon, oh, like a platonic romantic type of relationship. Just in general, love in general, when it comes to the Venusian energy, is just relatability. So it's something that's more likable or agreeable, to where you can understand what I'm saying, and it relates to you based upon my own way of how I relate to it, and then you can either get it or you just don't, so to speak. So for me trying to relate it or relay it towards something, right? That's my specific way of how I appreciate it. And when it comes to what I appreciate, I can't tell the difference between what I love and appreciate and value compared to my passions and my motivations. So it's gonna make me a passionate lover. And if you try to separate me from being a passionate lover, I'm gonna feel weird, because I look at both of those things as the same thing. You get what I'm saying? So love being the Venusian energy, passion being the Martian energy. So when you combine that together, oh, passionate lover. So if you try to put me in a lens, or put me in a different perspective of looking beyond a passionate lover, I'm gonna look at you like you dumb, because those things are interlinked. I don't know how to separate it. Anything that I'm passionate about, anything that gets me motivated, I also love that thing a lot too. I also care about that thing a lot too, for the most part, because motherfuckers can be in their passions and stuff like that and their motivations, right? And they're gonna be motivated to do it. It don't mean they love it though. That's like having a job. So if you have your job, you're having that job for money, and the thing that's getting you motivated and passionate is the money. But you may not love your job. You know what I'm saying? You just love the money that come from that job. You get what I'm saying? It's like the same thing when it comes to that. But for me, based upon what I love and appreciate, and also my passions and my motivations and the things I'm really intentional about, I'm a intentional value, love, appreciator. I'm doing it to you directly on purpose. You know what I'm saying? So when you try to separate me from that, I'm gonna look at you like you weird. I can't just act detached when it comes to something I love and appreciate. I'm gonna show that energy of me directing that energy of a lot of willpower, a lot of intention behind why I have that desire, of why I have a lot of passion behind that thing. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not gonna do that for every single one, but it's so you understand what I'm basically trying to say. So that's the con of it. You can't tell the difference and have that discernment between the two, because you look at both of those energies as the same thing. So any aspect where you have a conjunction, and let's say on a high percentage scale, you have a lot of conjunctions in your chart, you kind of gonna come off very two in the mix, because you also come off too mixy when it comes to your own internal internal energies, so your thoughts and feelings. So you feel all mixed up because you don't know how to separate between a lot of your energies inside. You look at all those things as like the same thing. So when someone shows you another perspective that's outside of those things you're bound to or you're interlinked to, it's like a marriage. So that's like someone trying to entice you. That's like you being married and you're a guy, right? And then like you see a bad bitch walking, but you not even gonna acknowledge that bad bitch walking at all, even if you married to something that's like a bad marriage, to where y'all are in a link, but it's getting to that point to where it's getting more dry, or y'all going through that rough patch, or it's toxic now, like the relationship isn't going as well compared to when you first going about it, but y'all know how to work as a unit when y'all married. But once you have another representation of a bad bitch walking, and you can interlink with that, you don't know how to tell the difference between you don't know how to tell the difference between moving away from the person you already interlinked or intertwined to, and try to be open to another opportunity, or you trying to be open to another female, even if that relationship that you already are more familiar with isn't even going right, to the point to where y'all probably going to divorce and stuff like that. But you're so bound to that, you're not willing to separate because of everything that come with going through the divorce, the paperwork, the separation and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically like that when you look at it from that perspective. Now, next one is sextiles. Now, sextiles are your opportunities. So it's an opening slash empty pocket for a favorable circumstance. Now, when it comes to, yeah, the sextiles is going to create that angle to where that 60-degree angle, if I'm not mistaken, but it's going to create that angle to where it's going to create an opportunity for you. So it's going to be like an open and empty pocket that you're going to be able to fulfill. And it's like a door opening for you, or you going through like a Stargate. You know what I'm saying? It's like you going through a portal, and that's the time that portal or that door is going to open. And that's the time to go through that opening, like, you know what I'm saying, kind of like the gate to Narnia or something like that, to where you could take advantage of that opportunity, because that's the only time that door gonna be open. And if you don't take it, that door is gonna close on you, and then you didn't even take advantage of that opportunity when that was the time to take advantage of that opportunity. And then you have to wait for that next cycle or that next go round for that specific pocket to open up again, so to speak. And it's always gonna be going through different angles and different aspects and different goddamn circumstances where that can actually happen. I don't know why this fucking fly keep flying around. That shit distracted me, but yeah. Now, on a more negative end, it's going to create energies of being an opportunist. So that's like, let's say you have like a lot of sextiles in your chart. So you're going to have opportunities to take advantage of a lot of empty pockets or stargates, portals, and doors opening for you. But at the same time, it can lead to energies of you being too opportunistic. So exploiting and taking advantage of opportunities for self-interest with little regard of the harmful consequences. I'm gonna say that again in case it cut out. But exploiting and taking advantage of opportunities for self-interest with little regard of the harmful consequences. So from it being a sex style, we have sex within the mind first. So it's taking two or more different energies to create another energy. So in general, it's gonna make it so you're gonna be able to take advantage of that opportunity from your own perspective of how you go about something and able to add your own energy to a whole different energy, right? And overall, it can lead to uh, you taking advantage of a lot of different opportunities. But let's say you have a lot of sex styles in your chart, it can make you too opportunistic. So it's gonna lead to you exploiting or manipulating your way to make it so on a higher percentage scale, it can go based upon self-interest. It can go more in your favor, but you're giving to little regard of the harm that you can cause from you doing that for yourself and others. So you can look at that as business wise, blue collar, white collar wise, and stuff like that, right? Like suit and tie wise, right? Business wise, that's good because for you to maintain your career, that status in that position, that foundation from you standing on business, you're gonna go up in that scale all the way down to you being a CEO type of mentality and things of that nature. But personal life wise, it's gonna go to shit because it's gonna always come off in that energy of you have no time for no personal relationships, and then all your personal relationships feel like work in general. You know what I'm saying? That's like you being around your coworkers and stuff like that. It's like you're never gonna be completely comfortable all the way because you don't really have a personal life because you're sacrificing your personal life for your career, for that status, for that foundation, so you can keep going up in the world based upon different structures and societal norms and stuff like that. In your business, in the money wise, you're gonna be booming. Is gonna be booming, but money ain't gonna just fix everything. Type shit. So it's like you willing to compromise your morals or your integrity for the sake of that status or that foundation or that positioning. So just in general, on a higher percentage scale, look at that as you're willing to lie or commodify or manipulate something to feed your ego or that self-interest when life don't work that way. Sometimes you have to think more selfish, and then sometimes you have to think more selfless. Sometimes life gonna go more in your favor, but then sometimes it ain't. When you try to think more in like an ego, so you try to manipulate a situation based upon self-interest, and you have to be a manipulator or a charlatan, or you have to do things covertly based upon that tactic to try to, you know what I'm saying, feel marker or perform witchcraft and stuff like that, man, that's gonna go into a whole different thing. But like, yeah, y'all get what I'm trying to say. It's gonna turn into energies of you're trying to manipulate your way so you can be seen in a certain light for it to go more in your favor. But from you doing that, you're sacrificing a lot of genuineness and stuff. So you're not gonna look like a good person on a higher percentage scale. You just gonna look like a fuck nigga. So business wise, right, that's good that you cutthroat. But personal life wise, ain't nobody gonna be able to fuck with you because they gonna look at you like this person is probably taking advantage of me for something, for the lookership, for the validation, for the monetary gain, for the money, and that's temporary. So if you don't know how to live in moderation, you can just look too opportunistic. So yeah, you're gonna be eager and you're gonna be optimistic about every opportunity, and you're gonna be able to take it. But when you take it too far on a higher percentage scale, it's gonna lead to you being into that cold-blooded type of energy too much. It's not to say sometimes you ain't gonna be that, but if you don't know how to warm up to different things and you always gonna be cold-blooded or detached, and you always think based upon more selfishness or self-interest or you being self-centered, and you ain't gonna be able to provide or give gain to somebody just because, and you feel the need to be in that position of big bro or whatever, to where, oh, you should be gracious, I'm even giving you this game and stuff like that, because not a lot of people don't even get this opportunity to even get this time with me because of this, that, and the third. And it's like the expectation type of energy of like, oh, you have to do it this specific way, and you always have to give praise to me because without me, you ain't gonna be able to get nowhere in life and stuff like that without my connection and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like a crab in a barrel type of mentality. It's that deep though. It's really that deep. So on a higher percentage scale, yeah, you're gonna be able to take advantage of the opportunity, but it's gonna make you look like an opportunist, and you're willing to be so much of an opportunist that you're willing to sacrifice certain morals and certain integrity and certain principalities, right? So you're not gonna look like a genuine person, but it's gonna be that. Would you rather cry in a Benz or you rather cry in the back of your Nissan? You know what I'm saying? Like your 2006 Nissan. Like, oh God, it's more like that. Like you rather do this inside of a mansion or you rather do that inside of a 1-story house. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be like that type of energy for the most part. But yeah, and then next one, square. So tension or frustration which demands action challenges you to overcome where and it's also where you drive to grow and learn through learning processes, aka staying on your square. So containing and maintaining an area of your expertise to gain endurance. So from you going through that square, kind of like right now, we in Leo season, and I'm a Taurus Sun and Moon. So I'm going through a square when it comes to how things are supposed to be seen right now, from it being summertime, so things being hot, spicy, enticing, and finding that new, fresh, flavorful, fashionable pocket of new ways to present yourself and to be seen, and new ways things can be felt. And it's also a fire sign, so it's also going to be based upon visions and that visualization of that imagination and trying to push the boundary when it comes to that, right, through action, because it's also about to supported by the sun. So through that action and through that setting up the stage, entertainment, expression, everything being about self-expression and that being fixated on it. So I'm able to fixate or contain that specific way of how I want to express myself. For me being a Taurus, I'm going to go through that square. So it's going to put me through a frustration because it's the same modality, but it's a different element. And I'm in the earth element, so I'd rather be grounded and I'd rather be bare. I'd rather come off more dry, or I'd rather come off more simple, or I'd rather care about the money or the materialization. Leos don't care about that. They just want to get the expression off. They don't necessarily care about how it's seen. They just care more about the attention that it's getting, regardless if it's good and bad attention. Regardless of it being good attention or bad intention, they just care about the energy of my self-expression and you giving me attention to my fixated way of how I want to express myself and it being felt. So even if it don't feel good, hey, you felt a way about it though. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you don't like my music or something like that, right? When artists say that, even if you don't like my music, shit, at least you had a reaction. At least you felt some way about it. Even if it wasn't good, at least, shit, you paid attention to it. It's that esoteric currency. So just in general, right? Overall, for me going through that square, I'm supposed to kind of not care about the money or the materialization or the monetization or that grounding type of energy, that down to earth energy. So it happening in reality based upon physical senses and touching and stuff like that. And then even if it's not physically being felt, I'm able to ground that energy to where you can feel what I'm saying, like, oh, there is something like that in reality, because it's going to be really impactful. It's like a real impactful thought. It's going to be like a really impactful way of how I feel about it, but it's going to come off real dry or uninterested and boring or sarcastic, kind of like that dry sense of humor and stuff like that. But it's gonna be simple though. It's gonna come off realistic. It's gonna come off genuine. That's why a lot of even though I'm like a really spiritual person and I'm triple earth, that's why it genuinely comes off like this is like real shit I'm talking about, based upon the examples that I'm using of like, no, that actually happens in the external world, in the external realm. That actually happens in real life. And then I'm just grounding it in reality to make it be materialized, or me building the fortitude or the structuring or the foundation of, no, there is a thing like that, and I'm trying to make that more stable. But I have to be stable spiritually first when it comes to my emotions and feelings, right? So that thought form can look sturdy, so it look like it's something substantiated, so it look like something that you can build to where it can actually become money, or actually become something that can be materialized, or something we can actually put into practice. Because earth signs think based upon thinking and practicality. So they're going to put it into practice to show, no, there is something to that though. There is a nuance to that. No, there is someone can pay attention to that and actually get money off of it type of quality. No, there is a thing where people can physically get around that building to keep that structure built up and stuff like that. No, there is this can be contained and people can make this a household in a communion and community and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? There is a grounded energy of something that can be built from this until it becomes a small building, 1 story, and it becomes a big ass skyscraper and stuff like that, based upon the structure and the status and the position and the stability. Also based upon what we're working on through that routine, that practice, that custom, that tradition. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a deep thing, but y'all get what I'm trying to say based upon the Taurus and the Leo energy when it comes to the square. So for me, going through that frustration and that tension of me letting go of that down to earth type of energy, and I'm just willing to, like, whatever vision is in my mind, the way how I see it, internally speaking, the way how I see it and the way how I feel about it, I'm just letting that self-expression be expressed. And I'm not really caring about the monetary gain. I'm not really caring about the monetization. I'm not caring about how it's grounded or how it's stable. No, I just need to focus on it being fixated based upon the attention span. It just needs to be seen. It just needs to be expressed, and it's gonna make me feel more connected to my inner child as well. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna feel that energy of me birthing something and then making that part of reality. So me giving it life. So this is the time to be lively. The same way how it's hot as fuck outside, and then people want to experience things, go outside, go to the beach and stuff like that. Act more lively, act more passionate, act more in a more higher temperament, so something can be more represented and something can be more seen compared to it being behind closed doors and it being unseen. And then right now we also going through a moon in Scorpio, which is my opposite sign because I got a Taurus sun and moon. So it's gonna feel like I'm distant from that, but I'm supposed to take things, because that's the transition right now. I'm supposed to take things that I'm deeply passionate about, take things that I'm deeply passionate about, or I find deep abundance in, or things that I really want to do, but I don't really show that's what I'm doing. And this is the time to make that more seen now than ever, for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the whole point. This is the time to, all that shit that I keep under the rug or in the closet or behind closed door. No, this is the time where, no, I gotta make that be seen. That's a representation. That's my expression. That's the way how I want it to be seen. That's the way I want it to be felt. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to care about, does it look practical right now? You know what I'm saying? Oh, can I make money off of that? Oh, does that look like some thing where you know what I'm saying, it can pay the bills and things of that nature? Like, that's not the time for me to think about that. It's just for the sake of entertainment. It's for the sake of that creativity. It's for the sake of that expression. So when it comes to squares, it's like that energy in general. I have to go through that frustration, that tension, that learning process when it comes to that area of expertise, so I can stay on my square. So it's me containing and maintaining that energy of what I just explained, like that the fixated portion of the summertime. That's the time I'm supposed to act more fixated in that summertime type of energy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? That fiery type of energy. I have to shoot for the stars, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It's like a firearm. It's like shooting a gun. That's the time to explode it. That's the time to bombard it. That's the time to, you know what I'm saying, like blow something up. That's the time to gas something up. That's the time to, you know what I'm saying, for something to be expressed in things of that nature. That's the time to gaslight. That's the more negative energy, but y'all get what I'm trying to say. So it's good. So for me going through this transition, right, it's gonna make it so, I gain more endurance from me being able to maintain my square of, that's the time to act out that energy of how I'm supposed to be how I'm supposed to be seen at that time. And it's probably gonna be like, you know what I'm saying, like during this process it's gonna be like frustrating at times, because it's like I don't really care about it being seen that way, especially if it don't look practical, especially if it don't look realistic, especially if it don't look stable and stuff like that. But I'm more willing, the more I'm more willing to work through that frustration, it's gonna benefit me later down the line, and it's gonna make it so I gain more tricks and stuff like that. I'm able to gain more endurance in that area. You know what I'm saying? Of being seen or getting attention in a certain way, even if it don't look practical, even if it don't look realistic, right? But I'm able to spiritually jump rope for the most part. So I'm able to look at it and like laugh, or I look at it like entertainment, or like, yeah, I was expressing myself like that at that time and stuff like that. And it don't look realistic, it don't look practical, but I was able to be seen a certain light to get attention, and then now certain people are paying attention to me in certain ways, which can lead to other areas and stuff like that. Oh, this motherfucker is really funny, or this person is really charismatic and stuff like that, or I like the way this person expresses themselves in that way and stuff like that. It come off really spontaneous or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It go deep. It go deep. So the next one would be a trine. A trine is just, you know what I'm saying, like a natural gift, talent, and skill you are able to do with ease and give out freely. But too much ease can cause laziness or procrastination due to the lack of struggle, which can cause you to not grow or take or take that natural talent. It's basically you taking that natural talent for granted. So you still have to leave room to challenge yourself. So when it comes to a Tron, that's all that is. It's just a natural gift and talent and skill that you already know how to do. The same way how you could be born knowing your family know how to play guitar, and no one put you on how to go buy and purchase a guitar and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But for some reason, you naturally gifted at playing guitar. For some reason, there's no artist in your family like that who know how to draw, but your ass know how to draw. So that lets you know in a previous lifetime, based upon, you know what I'm saying, like the things you was given attention to, based upon your observations as a spirit and what you created for yourself, right? You was able to retain that natural ability. So it's kind of like when you look at your trines, it's basically like that. So whatever planetary energies, when it comes to those aspects, when it comes to your trines, that's something, oh, you naturally know how to do that. And based upon that natural gift and talent, you can end up taking that talent for granted because it comes easier to you compared to somebody else. So you still have to leave room where you're able to challenge yourself and your ability to see how far you can go. You know what I'm saying? You can see how far you can go with that natural ability that you already know how to do for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So like the minute you go to your chart and you start seeing like, kind of like, for example, I got Mercury trying my Neptune. So I'm able to articulate or be really informed, well informed, or when it comes to thinking, communication, articulation, observations, my analytical skills, right? My analysis when it comes to my dreams and my imagination and my creativity that basically comes out of that. I'm able to articulate it in words very well. I'm able to articulate my imagination, my magic, you know what I'm saying? My manifestations very well. You know what I'm saying? Like the way how I see it in my mind, right? That mental image, I'm able to relay it into words very well. Or I'm able to uh, have a really good analysis so you can understand where I'm coming from, even if it's something of the mind. So I'm able to take mind matter and make it matter in reality, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to take things of my imagination and I'm able to add more data collecting quality towards it to where I can compartmentalize. Oh, okay, what's this dream? What's this observation? And then I'm gonna put that in a section. And what's this way of how I'm trying to express this thing that's in my mind that it look like it's something out of this world, or it look like something that's you know what I'm saying, supernatural and stuff like that. But how can I make that make sense in reality in some way, shape, or form? And that's basically that relationship when it comes to that. And it could also probably it also kind of makes me like a good slick talker too, but that's a different thing. But yeah. But that was just an example. So when it comes to your trines, right, it's just a natural talent, skill, and ability that you're able to do. But if you take that talent or that skill for granted, based upon how easy it comes to you, it leads to you being lazy or you procrastinating in that area from you not showing your natural talent and gift, and you're not challenging yourself to see how far you can keep on going with that so you can get even better with that ability that you already, you know what I'm saying, it already comes naturally to you, but you're not trying to put it to the test. Show your spiritual testimony and go through experiences where, you know what I'm saying, like you end up gaining more endurance in that area, so to speak. So once you actually try to do it in a way that's more productive, you can see how far you can go with that talent and ability that already naturally comes to you anyway. And then lastly, in conjunctions. So this is just misunderstandings and misinterpretations that you miss or it go over your head. But when you try to gain an overstanding when actually no, I missed one. I also got oppositions too, but I'm gonna say that after in conjunctions. But yeah, misunderstandings and misinterpretations that you miss and it go over your head, right? So it's similar to what's an in conjunction, like Capricorn and like Leo, right? So Capricorns is a cardinal earth sign, and then Leos is a fixed fire sign. So they can go through misunderstanding based upon how they express themselves if they were sun signs, right? So based upon how they express themselves is always gonna be that misunderstanding when it comes to the Capricorn compared to when it comes to the Leo, because a Capricorn, especially being ruled by Saturn, they're gonna have a certain discipline or a certain way of how they want to structure their life in general, right? Of a certain pattern or a certain routine and things of that nature. A Leo don't really care about that structure at all because it's based upon seeing and feeling how they visualize it in their mind based upon that vision, and it's not it's not constructed based upon reality. It's not based upon a certain discipline. They just want to show that expression and then get attention off of it based upon how much they are already paying attention to it, so people can draw attraction from it. Oh, my fault. They like to draw attention, which leads to attraction. It leads to people paying attention to what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Because attraction is just you drawing attention. So people are able to take what you're providing, and what you're providing is you're trying to create a platform or a performance so you can be seen in a certain light from you being on the stage, so you could be seen or perceived in a certain way. So from it being a more masculine sign compared to Capricorn being a more feminine sign, Capricorns, they like to hold on to thoughts long enough until it becomes grounded and substantiated, compared to Leo's being Leo's being a feeler, emotional fire sign, and it's a masculine sign. So they like to push the boundary of how far they can go with that certain expression, with that certain emotion, with that certain feeling, for the most part, so it can be seen in a certain way. So they're gonna go through misunderstandings because Capricorn is always gonna be caring about discipline and structure, and going about things in a certain practical way, and initiating creating new ways of how to go about that based upon the status of positioning, how they broadcast it, how they seen publicly. And then Leos, they go about it in a way of, for the sake of that entertainment factor or that self-expression or that creativity in that being produced, that being shown based upon how they visualize it in their mind, and that being seen, and then being able to push a boundary when it comes to that, so they can keep on getting motivated based upon their action. You know what I'm saying? Based upon the thing that's giving them life, the thing that's making them act more lively just in general. So they're not caring about that discipline. They're not caring about it being structured in a certain way. They just want to be seen based upon that vision that come to their mind, and they don't care about a specific way of how it's going to be structured, a specific way of how it's going to be seen, because they're not holding on to that thought. They just holding on to that certain expression or that certain emotion and feeling, and you can't take them out that feeling. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take them out that feeling of that praise or that admiration or that validation that they get whenever they express themselves in that light, and then people give them attention for it. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take them out that feeling. They're going to be stubborn as fuck. All fixed on. They all stubborn as hell. It's just Leos do it in that specific way. They're stubborn when it comes to that specific way of expressing themselves, and that specific expression, and that specific feeling. You cannot take them out that feeling. And then even if you do, they probably got some type of respect for you or something, or they know how to, like, you know, get out their own mind, get out their own ego. They know how to be more Aries or Sagittarius like, and that's a damn Tron right there. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna give them a better ability once they learn how to be more cardinal, or when they learn how to be more mutable, aka Sagittarius and Aries. You know how to look at it in a different way than your stubborn ass one egocentric type of way of how you want to express yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that's here nor there. But in general, right? That's just the when it comes to misunderstandings, when it comes to inconjunctions. And once you balance that out, it's going to make it so you can gain an overstanding and acceptance of their way of how they go about things. So same thing with the Capricorn and Leo. A Leo can understand, oh, why that is important for a Capricorn to do that, or during that transition, why during that time, that's the time you should be in that energy. And then Capricorn can understand, okay, I can go more off script, or I don't have to structure or punish myself to this certain routine of this specific way how to go about something. I can open myself up, keyword open, instead of being contained and closed off because they're a feminine sign, right? They learn how to be open to another way of expressing themselves and getting attention, which can lead to gaining abundance when it comes to materialization or grounding themselves in a better way, because you're able to, you know what I'm saying? It's something that can be seen in a different light instead of it being contained into that one specific shape and form for the most part. Because you know what I'm saying? Like earth signs, they like to go things based upon building and construction and containing and materializing and holding on to certain thoughts without trying to be in a certain feeling. And they try to intellectualize something instead of trying to, you know what I'm saying, be in a certain emotion and feeling for the most part. They rather intellectualize their feelings and emotions instead of just being in a feeling and emotion in itself. You know what I'm saying? Just to see how it's going to be seen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why fire signs, they're willing to be seen based upon that expression, and they don't really care how it's looked, how it's going to be looked at. They're going to figure that out later. They just want to get out that expression, and then niggas can feel how they want to feel, and then they'll retain the reception after the fact. But they gonna get that feeling off first though. And then lastly, opposition. So it's just two opposing extremes, obstacles, and constantly going against or being at odds with something instead of making it even. So it's you trying to even out the odds, but you always have that enemy. You always have that opposition. You always have that foe, or you always feel the need to drag something down because you can't understand why is that high. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always like that demonic Satan type of energy. And don't get lost into the words that I'm saying, right? Because the way how I be saying demon and Satan is not the way how y'all be utilizing those words. It's just me saying you being demonic or you opposing against something or you willing to see the negative or the harm within it than the good, so to speak. So it's that give and receive. It's that push and pull. It's that like tug of war because it's going to feel bipolar being more in that energy. And it's where you're bipolar at due to the lack of balance. But it's at the same time, on a more positive end, is where you can meet friendly foes who can cooperate. So if it's a friendly foe, or you know what I'm saying, it's gonna feel like an adversary. It's gonna feel like a rival. So y'all still going against each other. Y'all still competing, but it's a common respect at the same time. So y'all still at odds. Y'all trying to see who better, but you respect. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both respect each other's abilities and y'all talents in y'all own pocket. So y'all two different individuals opposing against each other, but y'all able to have that respect at the end of the day, and the best man wins, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. So when it comes to oppositions, yeah, it's gonna feel bipolar. It's gonna feel like it's two opposite extremes. So from you going against it, right? It's only because you just don't understand it, so to speak. It's only just you lack that energy. Kind of like I'm a Taurus, and then my opposite is Scorpio. It's not that we ain't doing the same thing because we're both the same modality. We both fixed signs, so we both can be stubborn. It's just I'm stubborn about reality and things that get materialized after the fact, the things that get grounded, right? The things that are more realistic. They be stubborn about their emotions and feelings. Now, it's not that I can't be like that. It's just hard for me to understand it. So I'd rather go against it than actually try to understand why do they feel that way. But once I actually be open enough to try to understand why they feel that way, I'm like, oh, okay, I get why you stubborn like that. You know what I'm saying? I see why you try to be stable in that area. You know what I'm saying? I see why you try to be contained in that type of way. Oh, I see why you feel so strongly about that emotion and feeling. It's the same way how I feel so strongly about maintaining my shit in reality, maintaining my bills, maintaining my housing situation, maintaining my stability, maintaining my money and things of that nature, maintaining certain monetary gain and things of that nature, maintaining my business, so to speak. It's just you do that when it comes to how you feel about stuff. So in general, right? That's how a Taurus can help a Scorpio when it comes to logical intelligence and practical thinking and getting more well informed and having a better way to articulate themselves because they'd rather be in a feeling than be out of a feeling, right? And then that's how Scorpios or water signs just in general can help Tauruses or earth signs when it comes to emotional intelligence, going more off of emotions and feelings and intuition and insight and things of that nature. So you can actually try to find that balance, and then they still y'all rival, y'all adversary, but y'all can find something that y'all both able to, you know what I'm saying? Like you both respect each other's expertise, and then it's gonna turn to like a crossover. It's like a Gemini neutron. It's gonna be like a team up. So it's gonna always feel like that versus, but this time it don't gonna be like a versus. We both have a common goal, and we able to balance something out, and then now we able to work together, even though we both different, but we both adjacent at the same time. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we both two different beings, but we both the same when it comes to working together, when it comes to that area and stuff like that. The thing that we're competing against each other about. That's the thing that we both relating to each other about. You get it? So yeah, we're both enemies. We both oppose each other. But the thing that we're both contained into is just that circumstance itself of the competition in general. So that's like us. That's like you being in sports and stuff like that, and like you a quarterback, and then you always rival against that team and they quarterback, right? But the main thing that y'all both contain into is being really adamant about being a quarterback playing football. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all both contain to the same thing. It's just y'all both have two different ways of how to go about it. But once y'all try to be friendly foes, competition and stuff like that, y'all both make each other better. And then let's say there's a circumstance y'all both work together, y'all gonna be able to go farther than other people because y'all willing to compromise. So yeah, just in general to sum it up, yeah, when it comes to oppositions, it's always gonna feel that way. It's always gonna feel that energy of me being a Satan, me being demonic, or me being opposing, or me always feeling at odds instead of us trying to make things even or making things equalized, like Adam and Eve and things of that nature, right? So it's always gonna feel like it's gonna be that energy, but at the same time, from us always being at odds or us being separate, when we able to come together and actually able to work through those different oppositions, we able to become friendly foes. So we both adversaries or we rivals and we both competing for the same shit. We just have two different ways of how to go about it. But there's certain aspects that we both can learn for each other, so to speak, even though it's always gonna feel like a friction or it's always gonna feel like I can't fuck with this nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always gonna feel that energy of give and receive, that push and pull. You know what I'm saying? So it's always going to be about, oh, who's better at doing this? And that's the separation. But it's always going to be that energy of, oh, there's something we both can give and receive from each other, though, even though we have two different ways of how to go about it. And then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really all it is. So even if we at odds or we have our own we both have different aspiration and goals, but we both got to share this land, we able to make that agreement or that peace treaty to make it so, okay, we able to work together even though we both have different goals to why we both on this land, so to speak. And that's the same thing that happened in history when it come to America, when it come to everybody, everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a big ass melting pot. But in general, y'all get what I'm trying to say. But in general, that's the breakdown of all the astrological aspects, the pros and the cons. Not just looking at it from oh, these are harmonious and these are more unharmonious or negative and stuff like that. Both have pros and cons. Once you start to act in that energy too much, and then you learn how to act upon it in moderation. And when you actually look at your aspects in your own chart and stuff like that, you can look at it in a better perspective.